Moses and Annie had been married for years, and their relationship was once filled with warmth, mutual respect, and laughter. They lived in a serene compound, surrounded by a few neighbors and lush greenery. Life was stable. Moses worked at a corporate office in town, a diligent and loyal employee who always came home to his loving wife. One day, a new neighbor moved into the compound. His name was Caleb. He was young, athletic, and a model by profession. With his well-defined jawline, stylish haircuts, flashy car, and confident aura, he quickly caught everyone's attention, especially Annie's. At first, it started with friendly greetings and casual smiles. But soon, Moses started noticing changes in Annie's behavior. She became more conscious of her looks, wearing makeup even while at home. She laughed more often, especially when Caleb was around. One evening, Moses returned from work and found Annie sitting on the balcony with Caleb. They were laughing heartily over something on his phone. Moses stood silently for a moment before walking up. "Annie," Moses called, his voice low but firm. She turned, startled. "Hey baby, you're back early. This is Caleb, our new neighbor." Caleb stood up and extended a hand. "Good to meet you, bro." Moses shook it, offering a polite smile. "Nice to meet you too." Later that night, in the bedroom, Moses couldn't hold his thoughts. "Why were you two laughing like that on the balcony?" he asked, sitting at the edge of the bed. Annie sighed. "Moses, don't start. Caleb is just friendly. It's nothing." "Friendly? Annie, I've never seen you laugh that hard with me in months. Are you jealous now? You know I've always been friendly with everyone." "There's friendly and there's disrespectful. What I saw was crossing a line." They argued for a while, but eventually Moses let it go. Or at least tried to. In the following weeks, Caleb continued to be a constant presence. Moses would come home to find Annie and Caleb sitting on the balcony, chatting like close friends. Annie had also started going to the gym, something she had never done before. "Since when did you care about fitness?" Moses asked one morning. "Can I care about my health now?" Annie replied, tying her shoelaces. "Or is it because Caleb goes there every morning?" She paused, her eyes sharp. "You really need to stop being insecure. And you need to start respecting this marriage," Moses replied firmly. But his words fell on deaf ears. Annie and Caleb became inseparable. One night around 2 a.m., Moses woke up to find Annie missing from bed. Concerned, he walked downstairs and saw her on the couch, the glow from her phone lighting her face. She was smiling, admiring pictures. "Who are you looking at?" he asked, startling her. Annie quickly locked the phone. "Just a random video." "Don't lie to me, Annie. That was Caleb's picture, wasn't it?" "Why do you always assume the worst?" "Because you're giving me reasons to. Do you know how humiliating it is to watch your wife fall for another man under your own roof? I see the way you look at him, the way you talk to him. You're my wife, for crying out loud. How could you do this to me?" "You're just being paranoid, Moses. You're reading too much into this. Caleb is just a friend." "A friend? You're admiring his pictures at 2 a.m., smiling like a schoolgirl. Don't insult my intelligence." "Maybe I was just looking at the pictures because they're funny. Maybe I was trying to take my mind off things. You know, like our marriage." "Our marriage? You're the one who's distant, who's withdrawn. I'm trying to hold on to us to make this work. But you're the one who's slipping away." "Maybe I am slipping away. Maybe I'm tired of feeling suffocated, tired of being trapped in this marriage with no escape." "That's not fair, Annie. I've given you everything. I've loved you, supported you." "Loved me? Supported me? You control me, Moses. You dictate what I do, what I wear, who I talk to. You don't trust me." "I trust you, Annie. It's Caleb I don't trust. He's always been trouble." "You're just jealous. You're afraid of losing me." "I'm afraid of losing you? You're the one who's pushing me away, Annie. You're the one who's giving up on us." Here's the continuation. "You're not even listening to me, are you? You're just assuming the worst," she said. "I've seen the way he looks at you, the way he talks to you. He's got an agenda," Moses replied. "Maybe he's just being friendly. You're the one who's always so suspicious," she countered. "Friendly? You call that friendly? He's trying to get close to you, and you're letting him, Moses accused. I'm not letting him do anything. You're the one who's controlling and possessive. You're suffocating me, she shot back. I'm just trying to protect what's mine. You're my wife, and it's my job to keep you safe, Moses said. Safe? You call this safe? Feeling trapped and suffocated? That's not safety, that's prison, she retorted. The argument escalated, with neither side willing to back down. The tension between them was palpable, and the air was thick with unspoken words. I feel like I'm losing you, and I don't know how to stop it, Moses said, his voice cracking with emotion. Maybe you're just realizing now that I'm not the woman you thought I was, she replied, her voice cold and detached. The silence that followed was deafening. Days passed. One Monday morning, Moses sat at the dining table, eating silently before work. Annie was in the living room, glued to her phone. We need to talk, she said suddenly. Moses looked up, wary. I think I'm in love with Caleb. Silence. Moses couldn't respond immediately. He stared at her like she had just spoken a foreign language. You think what? I didn't plan it. It just happened. Caleb listens to me. He makes me laugh. He makes me feel alive again. Moses dropped his spoon, pain and disbelief flooding his face. After everything we've been through, Annie, we built a life together. I gave you all of me, and I'm sorry, but I can't lie to you anymore. They had a long, painful conversation, but Annie stood her ground. A few days later, Moses returned home to find the house quiet. Annie was gone. On the table lay a letter. Me and Caleb have moved out. I wish you a new life. Annie. Moses collapsed on the floor, broken. He cried for hours, days. He missed work, drank heavily, avoided calls. He tried calling Annie, but she never responded. Weeks later, a subtle yet profound shift occurred within Moses. He woke up one morning feeling an unexpected surge of determination. The fog that had clouded his mind for so long began to lift, and he saw a glimmer of hope. With newfound resolve, Moses tackled his daily routine with renewed vigor. He started by cleaning up his living space, throwing away trash, and organizing his belongings. The physical act of decluttering seemed to mirror the mental clarity he was striving for. Next, he dove back into his work, pouring his energy into projects and tasks he'd been putting off. His productivity soared as he tackled challenges head-on, and his confidence grew with each accomplishment. To further bolster his physical and mental well-being, Moses joined a local gym. The rhythmic pounding of his feet on the treadmill and the satisfying clank of weights being lifted became therapeutic rituals. Sweat-drenched and exhausted, yet exhilarated, he'd emerge from each workout feeling reborn. With each passing day, Moses' transformation became more pronounced. His posture improved, his smile returned, and his voice carried a newfound authority. The shift within him was palpable, and those around him took notice. One day, he stood before a mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. He had changed. He walked into a lawyer's office. "Mr. Moses, how can I help you?" the lawyer asked. "I want to file for divorce," Moses said calmly. "Are you certain?" "Yes, but I don't want her to take anything from me. No property, no assets. She left me with nothing." "Understood. We'll ensure the documents reflect that. Once she signs, it will be finalized." A month passed. One evening, Moses sat watching a movie when he heard a knock. He opened the door and froze. It was Annie, thin, tired, and visibly shaken. "Moses, please. I need to talk." "Talk? Now? After all this time?" She fell to her knees. "I made a mistake. Caleb wasn't who I thought he was. He used me. He lied. He has a wife and kids. He hit me. He hurt me." Moses remained silent, then finally said, "Get up. Come inside." They sat. She explained everything. The manipulation, the abuse, the lies. She sobbed and begged for forgiveness. "Please, Moses, let's try again. I was wrong." Moses stared at her. "You shattered me, Annie. I waited, I begged, and you left without a word. I know, I was blind. Please. I want to fix this." He stood up, walked into the bedroom, and returned with a file. "What's this?" "Divorce papers. I've been waiting for you to come back, not to reconcile, but to end this chapter." Annie's eyes widened in shock. You're serious?" "Yes. I've moved on, and now I want peace." She begged more, but Moses was resolute. 2 days later, while Moses was eating, his phone rang. It was a new number. He picked up. "Hello? Moses? It's me. Annie. Please don't hang up. I know I've been calling, and you haven't been picking up. But please, just hear me out. Annie, I've told you, I've moved on." "You don't mean that. Please, give me one more chance." I mean every word. "Goodbye, Annie." He ended the call and blocked the number. Months later, at the gym, Moses met Julie, a warm, kind-hearted woman with a gentle spirit. They connected instantly. She brought peace where Annie brought chaos. Weeks of dating turned into love. Then, marriage. Moses had finally found the happiness he thought was lost forever. Please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos.